Coming right up, another fun Varsity Sports Show.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating a platform to promote young people in extracurricular activities and community outreach. If you are interested in partnering up with the Varsity Sports Show, find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or call or text us at 480-779-9437. The Varsity Sports Show, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you. Coming this winter to the Varsity Sports Show, AIA, high school, basketball, soccer, and wrestling. Attention student athletes, parents, coaches, and administrators. We are contracted affiliates with NFHS. Tired of Pixelot? Our NFHS authorized platform can spotlight your favorite team with multi-camera and full broadcast crews. We still offer our YouTube channels as well. Single game, multi-game, and season coverage available to meet every budget, including a segment on the Varsity Sports Radio Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, dedicated to your team. We can even help promote your booster businesses. Act fast. The season is right around the corner.
Hi, kids. This is DJ Soulman from the Funk Junkies, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show with my man Vince Delicio. And what's your last name?
It's Delicio.
Okay, that's right. That's what I thought. Yeah, right.
KDUS AM 1060 Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix is home for the Dan Patrick Show.
This program is paid for by the JV Sports LLC and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show 2022. My name is Vince Delicio, and what an amazing start to an amazing year. I say that because I couldn't get much worse than last year, but it's great to be back. It's great to be alive. We took 3 weeks off, and ironically, we had to take 3 weeks off because we didn't have to. I could have, we could have run the show on the Saturdays preceding this Saturday, but we had Christmas Day and we had New Year's Day, so I likely would have been speaking to myself for an hour each week. So opted to take some time off, but it's great. I'm excited to be back. It's a new feel, a new look about our show, but the same show and the same great listener base, the same great partners, and the same great people in general that we work with. I'm joined in studio today. I'm back in the studio. My buddy Aaron Decker, the best producer in the business, is behind the glass. And so all is well with the world right now. And joined in studio by a new face, a new voice to the Varsity Sports Show for spring of 2022, Aviana Hoppus. Aviana is a sophomore in the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University. So as you guys know, last year, we created a pipeline with a couple of the schools here in town, Scottsdale Community College, my alums, go Artichokes, and then Arizona State University, another one of my alums, go Devils. And we created this pipeline and started introducing and creating a platform for local talent. And I am, again, humbled because we've got some of that talent in the studio with us in Aviana. Aviana, how are you?
Good. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
We've started off with a bang this year in that we've had you out there and doing things. And as you guys know, we do a lot of live streaming. We do a lot of outreach in the community. And that's what's great about this programming is that we're not just sitting here in the studio, because I know you guys think we're all pampered here in the studio, sitting here eating bonbons and just sitting back and waiting for things to happen. No, we're out there touching lives and one-on-one and getting out there and meeting people. And included in that, we do our sports broadcasts, our game broadcast live streams, and we have a lot of fun with it. And our production and broadcast team is out there doing it. And this week, Aviana hit the ground running, even though it's not the official start of the semester yet at ASU. It starts actually this Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, but we've had her working games. And I said, Aviana, have you done any play-by-play basketball? She said, no. I said, perfect. There's no bad habits to break. And she's been out there calling games and doing a heck of a job. And I've been out there helping a little bit, and our production team and our directorial team and Sammy Rivera, Justice Miranda, and Bailey Leisure have been out there working. Nick Hall, a new director with us, who's also he's a senior at Cronkite, is joining our team as well, and he'll be one of our directors. And then we've got a whole host of other folks, production, broadcast team members, directorial team members that are going to be doing work for us out there as well from Cronkite. So you guys are in for a great time. Okay. Whew. I did all that without taking a breath. Aviana, let's get to know you a little bit. So you grew up here in the Valley, right?
Yes.
You grew up where?
I grew up in Cave Creek specifically.
Okay, so my neck of the woods.
Exactly.
So I'm a town councilman in Carefree, right? Right in your neighborhood there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm aware. Yeah.
I'm an elected official up there. I'm kind of a big muckety muck up there. So anyway, and you know that when you're dealing with constituents, when you're an elected official, it doesn't matter how high the office is, whether it be the very tip top, president of the United States, or your lowly town councilman like me, you have issues within your town that you deal with. So we've had issues dealing with water. Water's a big deal here in Arizona because we live in a desert. Power, economic development, things like that. Well, my constituents, what they write me about is I get a lot of retirees that write me asking, because I'm a big hobbyist, and when I'm not here and I'm not working on things specific to the show, I like to restore pottery. And so I get questions about pottery. What did you use? Did you use plaster of Paris to fix that, or did you just glue it, or those are the issues that I get, and it's a lot of fun. I have fun with it, and I take those emails very seriously. So you'll find that as you continue to grow and develop in your craft, people are going to see what you do, and you're going to be living in a fishbowl. And so be careful what you put out there, unless you really want it out there. But so I say that, and I like pottery. Anyway, all right. So you grew up in Cave Creek. You're a graduate of Cactus Shadows High School.
Yes.
Go Falcons. My kids go there.
Falcons.
And you were very involved with the school paper.
Yeah, I was there for 3 years. Became editor-in-chief my senior year.
Nice.
And enjoyed every single
And
moment
your
of it.
newspaper is like an award-winning paper on a national scale, is it not?
Yeah, we've won quite a few awards, Gold Crown, stuff like that. We'd go
Okay.
to New York every year to receive
Wow.
our award.
That's
We'd
a big
always
deal.
win. Yeah, so much fun.
How did you get the bug to, now, obviously as a journalist and, an editor, that's one thing, because you're sitting there writing and, or typing, whatever. But to get the bug to be in front of the microphone, how did that develop?
Well, when I was in middle school, I love sports, and I'd watch Sunday Night Football, and I'd watch Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth, and I was like, wow, that looks like so much fun. I need to do that. So here I am trying to make that happen.
Are you familiar with Dick Stockton?
Yes, I am.
Dick Stockton. He lives in Carefree.
Does he?
Yes, he's a good friend of mine. So he's a great guy, and he came up through the ranks with Al Michaels and those guys, Marv Albert, and so Bob Costas. He knows all those guys. They're all good friends. But he retired last year after a 55-year career, and we did a special on our show over the summer as part of our summer spotlight series that we were talking about off camera or off mic before the show. And he went through his top 5 broadcast moments. Never done that before. And his are you a baseball fan?
I'm a huge baseball fan.
Okay, so his number one moment. We negotiated what his top 5 would be. He gave me a general idea or a guideline of what to use, but he called a lot of the games of basketball games, NBA Finals, the decade of the '80s between Magic and Larry. He did a lot of that. He was good friends with Michael Jordan, so we talked about that. He called some of the Olympics, speed skating. He was big on that. Bonnie Blair, Eric Heiden called a couple of Super Bowls, so we talked about that. But his number one moment was in 1975. He was in his he might have been 32 years old. It was probably, he had some big breaks before, but this was probably the one event that put him completely on the map on a worldwide scale, was when he called the home run that Carlton Fisk hit with the Red Sox and Red Series in '75, and it was just it was an emotional series, And he called that, and that was his number one all-time great. So anyway, so go back and, you can catch the archive on YouTube, whatever, and listen to it. It's pretty good. But yeah, so that being said, so we've got, some heavy hitters. I'm a big Van Halen fan, and Eddie Van Halen bought a house and had a house built in Carefree years ago. He doesn't live there anymore, but he's not alive right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, when he and Valerie Bertinelli were married, they live there. Okay, so growing up in the foothills, you settled on Arizona State University for their broadcast program. Did you look at other schools that you were interested in?
Yeah, I considered Washington State for a while. My mom's a Wazoo alum, and they have a good journalism program, but I don't know. I toured Cronkite. I loved it. I don't know. I liked it a lot, and I felt like it was the right fit for me.
Okay, now, big question. Take me out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
What drew you to wanting to do your internship with the Varsity Sports Show? Because I know I'm, pretty big deal, pretty popular guy up in our community. But no, I'm kidding. What made you decide you wanted to do that?
I applied for some other internships, but none of them were sports related, and this was the only one that really gave me the opportunity to do both sports and be in front of the camera, which I liked. The rest of them were kind of one or the other, and this one I didn't really have to choose. So I like that.
Nice.
I got to do both.
I thought you were getting ready to say, I applied to a bunch of others and none of them came through, and then this one kind of fell in your lap. But and that would have been okay if you'd have said that. But no, but we're happy to have you. I think you've been a real steal because you haven't said no to anything we've asked you regarding, production or broadcasting. You've jumped right in and you want to learn. And even in terms of taking feedback, you've been very good at that because sometimes you have to sugarcoat things because, you don't want to bruise egos or anything like that. People have pride. Mm-hmm. And you've been open. And you even, flat out, I said, do you want some feedback? And you said, yes. How am I going to get better? And so, giving you some feedback, and it's and you're doing great. You're doing great with it and picking it up, and it's only going to get better. So if you guys out there in listening today are interested in following our live streams, find us on Twitter at Varsity Show. We post links up there. They're free to watch. We're doing some stuff on NFHS this spring that we have to do that is subscription-based, but the rest of it, our YouTube stuff, you can catch a lot of all of our broadcast team will be doing games this spring for various schools, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I want to talk about the show today with the few minutes that we have before we go to break here. So when we come back from break, we are going to be joined by Willow Canyon head boys basketball coach Joseph Coletti. Great guy. We've been doing some of their games, and in fact, Aviana and I called their game last night against Sunrise Mountain. We're going to be joined by my old buddy Ralph Farrow, the Carefree Insider. He was my campaign manager during the election. He knows anything and everything about Carefree, local politics in the foothills. And he's a New York guy, and he's one of those guys that knows everything. And if he doesn't, he'll act like he does. So we'll bring him on. At midway point through the show, our Saguaro SaberCat basketball report with Coach Lucas Ramirez. Boys basketball coach Ramirez will be joining us. Done some of their games and will continue to do this spring. And then in our final segment, we've got the Jaguar Nation. The Jag Nation, Canyon View head girls basketball coach Desiree Carranza will be joining us. I called one of her games this week. They were 15-0, dropped a tough one to Millennium, but they've gotten off to a great start. 2 years ago was their first year playing varsity sports out of Canyon View. They're a 5A school. They're at max capacity now. It has just grown in the last couple of years, but they've been playing varsity sports, 5A level. This is their third year. So it's an amazing story. And then we're going to close out the show with some insults and my old buddy Mike Beal on the Beachin' with Beal Southern California Surf Report. We're going to leave you guys off smiling today. It's going to be a great show. So stick around, folks. Joined in studio by my new friend here, Aviana Hoppus, Cronkite journalist, student, intern, broadcaster, producer, and it's going to be a fun show. So, Aviana, you ready for this journey?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. So stick around, folks. Stick with us through the break. We'll be back here on the Varsity Sports Show. Go Varsity.
James Out West, featuring Ryan Brooks, brings NFL, NBA, and local sports talk to you Monday nights at 7 here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
Hey, this is Ralph Farrell, Carefree's #1 sports enthusiast, and want to tell you about a new radio show that's really hitting the spot. The Varsity Sports Show, which takes care of everything from high school, junior high school, college, community college sports. You got to listen to it. It's on 1060 AM, Arizona. No? Yes?
Coming this winter to the Varsity Sports Show, AIA, high school, basketball, soccer, and wrestling. Attention, student athletes, parents, coaches, and administrators. We are contracted affiliates with NFHS. Tired of Pixelot? Our NFHS authorized platform can spotlight your favorite team with multi-camera and full broadcast crews. We still offer our YouTube channels as well. Single game, multi-game, and season coverage available to meet every budget, including a segment on the Varsity Sports Radio Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, dedicated to your team. We can even help promote your booster businesses. Act fast. The season is right around the corner. Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675.
Hi, this is John Crane, Vice Mayor of Carefree, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060.
Killer Bees Ball with Jim Brinson and Howard Balzer, Tuesday night, 6 to 7 p.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
Hey, this is ASU Sun Devil lacrosse coach Tim McCormick, and you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince DeLisio, joined in studio today by my co-host, Cronkite. Do you like to be referred to as a Cronkite student, or?
I mean, it's factually true, so I'm not going to complain.
All right. So Aviana Hoppus, who is joining our team this spring as one of 10 new Cronkite broadcasters, producers. I feel like even though, technically you guys are all interning with our show, intern sounds, it almost feels derogatory. I want to refer to you as a peer. You're going to be a peer from here on out, so you are a fellow broadcaster. So welcome. That means you got a lot of work to do, and you got to help pay the bills.
Awesome.
All right. Okay, here we go. So we are joined on the line by Willow Canyon head boys basketball coach Joseph Coletti. And Coach Coletti, thanks so much for the opportunity to cover you guys this season. I know you guys had a tough one last night. You played the number 2 team at your place, kept it close for much of the game. How you doing, Coach?
Yeah, thanks. Good morning, guys. Appreciate you coming out and sharing our gym and the community that we have. Thought we had a great atmosphere last night, and hope to have that for the remaining home game.
Thank you. It's good to have you here. So I guess one thing I just want to ask, you're kind of a little bit past the halfway point in the season now. What are you kind of looking for the rest of the season?
Yeah, we've had some success up to this point. We've hit 12-4 overall. We've hit 6-3 in PowerPoint games. Whether you win, whether you lose, you got to dwell on it for that night. And we always tell our guys that when you put your head on the pillow, it's over, and you got to get on to the next task. So for us, we're going to get in the gym this morning. We'll watch a little bit of film. We'll take the practice court and try to get better. I really just think we got to learn to finish plays, both offensively and defensively, and we got to figure out a way to have more alignment. If we can be together, I think that gives us a chance every single night.
Coach, what's been because you guys are good, and I said this to you the other night. I think I caught you off guard because a lot of coaches tend to shy away from those kind of compliments. They think it's bad karma, but you guys are pretty good, and you went down to Tucson. You swept a holiday tournament down there, which makes me feel real good being an ASU guy and going down there, but and it makes the drive back that much sweeter. So what can you hang your hat on has been the thing that has defined your team so far this year?
Yeah, so, at Willow Canyon, we like to call ourselves Chaos Canyon. And the reason why is we like to play a really up-tempo, fast-paced style of basketball. So we, when healthy, when we have legs, when we have depth, we like to press. We like to play full-court defense, and we like to play in transition. So, unfortunately, last night we weren't able to do that as much. Sunrise did a great job of unfortunately turning us over, and they've got to play in transition. And so it made it a little bit difficult. But when we can do that, good things happen. We were able to do that in Tucson. We were able to play guys off the bench and get them good experience. I thought Khalil Kelly, Aiden Carino, Nicholas Walker all got a great opportunity in Tucson to have a bigger role, gain some confidence, do some nice things. And we're going to count on those guys as well as our seniors heading into the second half here to get us back to playing Willow Canyon basketball more consistently.
So you just mentioned some of your players. Is there any one player that you've seen a lot of growth from specifically this season, or one player that you're the most proud of how far they've come?
Yeah, I'm proud of all of our players. We believe in our program that every player is accountable for leadership. And what I mean by that is, most teams select 2 or 3 captains, and those are the guys that coaches and players look to lead and, direct when things start going poorly. For us, we're looking at 1 through 12 as somebody who needs to step up, communicate, step up and make a play, hold each other accountable. And so to that end, I think I've seen growth in every single player.
I got to be honest with you, Coach. I was a little hesitant going into the season because we had communicated throughout the offseason and negotiating the games and changing the games and the schedule changing and whatnot. And I got to tell you, it's been fun because every day that I would get a text from you, it would leave me either wanting to pull my hair out or kind of smiling a little bit because I realize everything that you're dealing with now and in having to be very fluid. But I'm really starting to like you. Yeah, well, you wouldn't have appreciated it before. But I'm really starting to like you and your team. I really am. I feel like we're getting to know these guys, and I really am having a great time covering. We're having a great time covering you guys and the families. Talk about the families here in our final minute about the family participation because that gym is rocking every night you have a game.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work to get our community to invest into the program, be participants with us. We believe that they create a 6-man kind of environment, and we had a great student section. I appreciate our spirit line, our student council. Our band was there. Our coaching staff does a great job on campus. Jay Hayes, who's my lead assistant, Davion Scott, who's our head JV coach, Fred Haynes, who's our head freshman coach, Damian Hinojos. They're all doing work trying to build a community. And then to your point, we do have some phenomenal families. So we believe that great families produce great young men, and great young men give us a chance to have great basketball players. And so we're thankful for the community that we have, and looking forward to our game on Monday against North Canyon.
Well, we're looking forward to continue to cover you. I know we've got a couple of more games here that we're privileged to cover for you. And then, obviously, I don't want to jinx anything, but once we get into the postseason with NFHS, then we'll have the ability to send a team out there to do those as well. So, Coach.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. You're 100% right. Coach Joe Coletti, Willow Canyon boys basketball coach, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to circle back with you soon, Coach. Thanks again.
Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
Hey, now it's time for Carefree Arizona's favorite political insider, a mover, a shaker, with East Coast toughness, yet West Coast sensitivity. Ralph Farrow, talking everything from politics to sports. A real Renaissance man. Here's Ralph.
Ralph, careful.
Hey, Vinny.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, so are you really a guy with East Coast toughness and West Coast sensitivity?
Well, I guess so. I don't know. I lived on the West Coast there for quite a few years.
Yeah, you're not a very sensitive guy, though.
Hey, well, I try to be.
Okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm getting better. I had a stroke, and I'm getting better from the stroke. I'm doing my physical exercises and stuff. So I'm pretty much getting back to normal.
So I'm joined in studio by one of our new broadcasters for this semester. She's a student at ASU in the Cronkite School of Journalism. Her name is Aviana Hoppus, and she actually grew up in Cave Creek. She was the editor of the high school newspaper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, Aviana, this is Ralph. This is the guy I was telling you about, that he lives around the corner from me, and he knows he was my campaign manager. I needed a campaign manager, and he knows everything about everything, and even some.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, and even things that he doesn't know, he acts like he does know. Right, Ralph?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So, but Ralph was a regular part of our show up until this past summer, and then he unfortunately had some health issues that popped up. He disappeared for a few months, but he's back at it, back out there, and he's going to be joining us again. So, Ralph, we got a couple minutes. What do you want to talk about today? What's going on?
Well, the big thing for me, my big upset was that Notre Dame in the what do you call bowl lost.
This is what do you call it? Bowl is right.
37-35. That was a heartbreaker for me because I'm a big Notre Dame football fan.
Yeah.
And they lost to Oklahoma State. But they still ended up 11-2, which wasn't too bad. So now we'll see what happens next year.
They got a new coach out there, Freeman.
Yeah,
he's doing a pretty
Freeman
good job.
Is their new. He was their defensive defense coach, and now he's the regular coach, the full-time coach. He took over from what's his name that left to go to Louisiana Tech.
Okay.
So that's been my big thing with college football.
Yeah.
What do you call high school football?
Yeah.
I don't follow too much.
Yeah.
You keep me in a loop on that most of the time.
Yeah, I try to, when we get together. So you've done a lot of mentoring in your life. What kind of advice can you give to Aviana as she embarks on this journey this semester with us?
Well, okay, Aviana, what year are you in at school?
I'm a sophomore.
A sophomore. Okay, so you got 2 more years after this. All right. And what do you want to do with this degree?
Hopefully go into broadcast and sports.
So in other words, she's probably gonna end up working at Starbucks and volunteering and trying to,
Exactly.
Exactly. Don't say that.
I know. I'm just talking my journey. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, if you graduate at the top of your class, that'll help too.
Yeah.
Are you up in the top of the class?
I have to check everyone else's GPA. Compare it to mine.
Well, what's your GPA? Is it 3-something?
Yeah, it's well over 3.
I tell you what, she graduated top of her class in high school. I don't know how we ended up, landing her with us.
Yeah. Why would you go hang out with Vince? For crying out loud.
Okay, all right, come on now. Listen to this guy.
No, he could be a good mentor.
Wow. Yeah.
So listen. So if he's any pearls of wisdom, take them.
Yeah.
Take them.
Okay.
And again, like I said, if you graduate top of the class, that gives you a big insight when you're trying to go out and break in. So that's important. That's important. Whatever you do, don't graduate in the middle or the bottom. Then you just might as well forget about it and why you waste your money on it. Are you a local girl? I mean, are you?
Yeah, she's Cave Creek.
Cave Creek.
Yeah.
That's local. Yeah. I mean, we're right next door in Carefree.
Yeah.
So. No, I basically my only advice to you is keep up on the top of the class. Where'd you go? You go to Cactus Shadows High School?
Yes.
And you graduated. Where did you graduate there?
Where or when?
When?
It's
that New York accent.
I graduated in 2020. So.
2020, and were you? What level were you at? Were you in the top 5%, top 2%, 1%, or what?
Oh God, it's been a minute since I looked at my high school transcript.
All right, we'll talk more offline about that. Ralph, thanks. We're gonna bring you back in a couple of weeks. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk more Notre Dame offseason and NFL. He's related to the late Vince Lombardi. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So anyway,
he was my cousin.
So thanks for joining us, Carefree's #1 insider and wise guy, Ralph Farrell. Ralph, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, Vinny and Aviana, it was nice talking with you, meeting you.
Thank you.
And,
nice
and,
talking
and
to
try
you
to stay at the top of the class, okay?
Yeah,
all right,
top
I'll
of the
try.
class.
Okay, take care, guys.
All right,
bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, when we come back, folks, we'll be joined by Coach Lucas Ramirez, Saguaro High School boys basketball head coach, talk about his week, a little bit about his season. Stick around. Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. Go Varsity.
time in your afternoon for the Doug Gottlieb Show right here on KDUS AM 1060, 100.7 HD2, and KDUS1060.com. Weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m.
Hi, hey, this is Coach Bob Green. When I am not busier than a mosquito in a news colony, I'm listening to Vince at the Varsity Sports Show. Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675. The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner with SaberCat Athletics. That's right, the Scottsdale Saguaro SaberCats are on the Varsity Sports Show. Join the varsity team as we cover the Cats during the SaberCat Report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, featuring players, coaches, and commentary. Look out for live stream coverage of Saguaro SaberCat sporting events by going to YouTube and searching for Varsity Sports Show, then click that subscribe button to stay up to date. The Saguaro SaberCats are here.
This is Coach Todd Williamson from Arizona Christian University, home of the Firestorm, and you're listening to Varsity Sports Show. Roll Storm.
The Dan Patrick Show improves your mornings. The DP Show airs from 7 to 10 a.m., adjusting to that time change.
Okay.
Get your radios locked 7 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
You're listening to the home of Saguaro SaberCat basketball. The Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. And now, here's Coach Lucas Ramirez. Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. Vince Delisio, joined in studio today by my co-host, Aviana Hoppus. And also, our old friend, we can't do this without this guy, because if we play the intro and he doesn't come on, then it seems awkward and weird in general. But Saguaro basketball coach, boys basketball coach, Lucas Ramirez, he's also a voiceover artist. He does a lot of our voiceovers, Aviana. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I'll tell you when he's about to do one for us. But anyway, Coach Ramirez, how are you doing, sir?
Morning. How you doing?
We're okay. You know, it's a Saturday morning, great morning. What are you up to? You guys got practice today, right?
Yeah, we're practicing right now, actually. I'm taking time out of my wonderful schedule to talk to you guys.
Wow. Oh, that's big. So Coach, let's before I turn it over to Aviana, let's get a recap of your week. Now, we started off the week broadcasting a game in which you won. How did the rest of the week play out for you?
We had a good night on Thursday over at Seton Catholic. Nice region win on the road. Those are always hard to come by, and you guys were there on a Tuesday night earlier in the week, and that was a nice win too against a good program over at Greenway.
All right, and you're well over the halfway point in the season. Just got a final stretch here before postseason starts. What are you kind of looking for this final stretch of the season?
Yeah, it's crazy that we're kind of in that final stretch. It doesn't really feel like it at all. But we're looking forward to it. I think our best basketball is ahead of us. Especially since we've added, some transfers in at the break. We've gotten healthy with some injuries we had earlier in the season, and then we've added 3 football players: Brady Hugendorn, Tristan Monday, and Devin Dampier, and so combine all those guys, us finding ways to gel together and put it all together. So. We're really looking forward to 2022 and what it brings for us.
Well, we know we had a chance, because we covered you guys last year. We had a really good opportunity, a front row seat, in fact, to see Tristan Monday banging it around in the middle. He'll be headed to the University of Wisconsin to play a little football up there, and after this. But it was refreshing. Brady Hugendorn, that kid can shoot the ball. He plays really well. And then Devin Dampier, he's a very aggressive player. Got a couple of offensive fouls the other night, but as he's shaking the rust off from being on the football field, now playing basketball. But talk about some unexpected surprises in your season. You had a tough go during the holiday break. You had some injuries and things, but in some tournament play that you had, but some pluses, minuses of where you're at in the season now.
Yeah, no, for sure. Injuries, sickness, all that stuff. Every team deals with that at some point in the year. So we aren't the only ones who are going to feel sorry for ourselves. Everyone could feel sorry for themselves a little bit if they want to have a pity party.
I do all the time. The time, every day.
But
especially when I'm talking to you, Coach.
But,
do you know, Aviana, this guy drives a Mercedes?
No way.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. Yeah, on a teacher's salary nonetheless. All right, go ahead, Coach. Sorry, I didn't know if anybody, I was muted for a second there. Go ahead.
No, you're good. But no, we're going back to your question of nice surprises. I'd probably take it a step further and say, we knew from the inside here what we had. We're very deep. We're 11, 12, 10, 11 guys deep, I'd say.
Yeah.
And a lot of people from the outside didn't know that we were going to have that, early on in the year, obviously, for a number of reasons. And for us, we are in the midst of still trying to figure out who we are now at this point in the year, just because we've had some late additions, et cetera, et cetera. And that's, going to be our challenge, but it's also a positive for us during this final stretch here, is trying to mix all of our toys, or mix all of our pieces together. But I'm really excited to have added, obviously, Tristan back from last year. Devin brings an element of competitiveness, toughness, athleticism, to what we do. Same with Brady. He can play inside and out. He can shoot the ball. He has a lot of upside, a lot of potential, and him and Devin are only juniors. Our transfers, Tyler Stegmeyer, Damare Sawyer, both sophomores as well. They can score the ball in bunches. So combine all that with what we've already had on the floor this year: Jeremiah, Anders, Blake, Aaron Rodriguez. I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but I can go on and on. So for us, we've been pleasantly surprised with the depth that we have, and now it's our job as a coaching staff to figure out the right rotations and figure out the minutes.
All right, and you just mentioned a lot of your players there. Is there any one player specifically that you've sort of seen a lot of growth from this season, and that you kind of want to talk about, who's just really stepped up and come into their own as a player throughout this first half of the season?
Yeah, I'm again, I could pick a couple guys, but I'd say Jeremiah Hines. He played JV last year as a sophomore, and he really took last year and worked extremely hard at the JV level, worked extremely hard in the off season. Same with one of our captains, Andrews Mazik. Him and Jeremiah both really, really did a nice job this off season, just embracing everything that we do. And I think Jeremiah is one of a few kids where you can see their growth in the court right away. Especially the first part of the season. We asked Jeremiah to do a lot. There were some games and some circumstances he was the only ball handler we had out there on the floor. So he battled and battled and battled, and I'm really proud of him. I'm really proud of Blake Lyle as well. He was a junior on JV last year, and he's been shooting the ball very nice this year as well. And he knows every night it might not be all the minutes in the world out there for him, but I know he's going to go out there and hit some open shots, or at least attempt to, and he's going to give us a chance to spread the floor. And he's a great example of a young man who does not complain about his playing time or his minutes, and he just does his job, spreads the floor out, and is ready to knock down shots. Likewise with a lot of our guys. Again, going back to how deep we are, we have to understand our roles, and we have to understand that it's ever evolving and ever changing. As we progress through this season, which is the fun challenge to have for sure. But definitely proud of Jeremiah. I think he's shown a lot of growth with a handful of other guys.
Joined on air for the SaberCat basketball report here, Saguaro SaberCats boys basketball coach Lucas Ramirez. Coach Ramirez, we were talking about the other night. I was talking to Aviana, getting her to know your team a little bit. We talked about last year how you were so senior heavy. 11 out of 13 of your players were seniors. And one of them, we weren't even sure, one of the underclassmen, Tristan Monday, we weren't sure if he was going to be back this year, which only left Anders Mazik. I've been so impressed with how much of a quiet leader that Anders has been, but you've had to rebuild a team with brand new faces. I mean, 11 out of 13 seniors is a lot.
Yeah, no, it is. And we knew going into last year when we got here, it's about making the most of the time we have with those seniors, and I can't thank those guys enough for what they brought to our program and helped set us in this direction that we're heading on. And then for us, really is as with Anders coming back, he did a great job leading by example. It's a quiet strength, I guess you call it. He just leads by example and does the right thing every day in the classroom, in the community, on the court. And the guys look to him. Our younger guys have seen that Anders and Jeremiah and a couple other guys, even our younger guys, like they live in the gym and they love being in the gym. And it was really refreshing to see that, once our season ended, how urgent they wanted to get back in there, and Anders was leading that charge. So I can't say enough about that. Obviously, it was a nice little surprise that Tristan decided to hoop.
Yeah.
We're very grateful for him doing that.
Are the Wisconsin coaches nervous about that? Because you know how how he likes to bang around in there.
For sure, no. Talking to Tristan about it, and he said, that's what the coaches said is that they enjoy guys that play.
You get a lot of phone calls from Tristan's dad, Tim. I love Tim. He's a great guy too.
Great family, great kid, great young man. Shown a lot of growth since I've met him, and he's going to have a bright future. But we're glad to have him. We're glad to have Brady Hugendorn as well, who brings a lot to us as well. But really though, adding all these new faces, a lot of these guys were in our program last year, so they know how we operate. And obviously some new faces who transferred in, all that too, and some young freshmen who obviously weren't in our program last year. But I think we do a good job as players helping new guys out, and our staff helping new guys out, making them feel welcome and making them want to just embrace being a part of what we do here at Saguaro. And it's a whole collective effort. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with one player. We collectively do a good job. I think creating that family atmosphere here, and it's easy for our new guys to plug in and feel welcome.
Fresh off a region championship here last season, Saguaro SaberCats head boys basketball coach Lucas Ramirez in his second year. Imagine he did that his first year. What's he going to do in his second year? Coach Ramirez, thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure, always fun. Thanks for your friendship, and thanks for taking a lot of the comedic insults that I throw your way in stride. And I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop that you're going to give it back to me big time. I think you're just waiting for the right moment.
No, hey, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for all you do, and it's really awesome seeing you guys not only cover our games, but cover games across the valley for all sports, and it's just great for Arizona. So really appreciate all you guys do.
Thank you. All right, Coach Lucas Ramirez. So, wow, he's a great guy, and he took time out of his practice even to come out and join us. So all you coaches out there, this is a young guy on the rise, and it's only his second year. So it's amazing. Grew up here in the Valley and attended Horizon High School. So good guy, Lucas Ramirez. Okay, so when we come back, folks, we're already jumping into our final segment here with my co-host today, Aviana Hoppus. Aviana, we're going to kick off the next segment, joined by Canyon View High School head girls basketball coach Des Carranza, talk about their team. They're 15. Well, they were 15-1. And then we're going to close out the show with the Southern California Surfing Report. Why do we have a surfing report? Because we can. So more to come. Stick with us through the break, folks. Varsity Sports Show, go Varsity.
SB Nation Radio is now Sports Map Radio, keeping sports content fresh and fun. Join us right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Hey, this is Derek Van Halen from Van Halen, the world's most authentic tribute to Van Halen. And you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060, Arizona.
Coming this winter to the Varsity Sports Show, AIA, high school, basketball, soccer, and wrestling. Attention, student athletes, parents, coaches, and administrators. We are contracted affiliates with NFHS. Tired of Pixelot? Our NFHS authorized platform can spotlight your favorite team with multi-camera and full broadcast crews. We still offer our YouTube channels as well. Single game, multi-game, and season coverage available to meet every budget, including a segment on the Varsity Sports Radio Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, dedicated to your team. We can even help promote your booster businesses. Act fast, the season is right around the corner. Welcome to the Jaguar Nation. The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner up with Canyon View High School in the West Valley to be the voice of Jaguar athletics. Tune in on Saturdays to hear the Jaguar Nation, featuring coaches, students, and staff between 9 and 10 a.m. on AM 1060 KDUS, and subscribe to the Varsity Sports Show YouTube channel to get free exclusive coverage of Canyon View sporting events. Welcome to the Jaguar Nation.
Jack it up.
Training Better Athletes was founded by renowned football coach Ron Sowers with the philosophy of training well-rounded young people in mind and body. TBA is the go-to for middle schoolers through the pros. Coach Sowers has worked with all sports but specializes in football offensive and defensive line skills training. Whether it's one-on-one or group training, reach out to Coach Sowers at trainingbetterAthletes.com or call him at 602-435-9064. You can't cheat the grind.
Monday nights from 7 to 8 p.m., it's James Out West featuring Ryan Rooks as the duo breaks down the NFL, NBA, and the local sports scene here on KDUS AM 1060.
Welcome to the Jaguar Nation on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, the Varsity Sports Show.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. And when you hear that intro, it's time for the Jag Nation. So before we bring her on, I want to talk a little bit about Canyon View High School. I was explaining this to Aviana, and if you grew up in the Valley, like I did, my family moved here when I was 6 months old back in this is how old I am. Back in 1972, and we used to spend every 4th of July. I know my parents are listening because they always listen. They help our ratings. And I always tell them, if you don't listen, I'm going to get you guys. But anyway, they're listening. And so every 4th of July, we would pack into my dad's VW bus. We had one of those VW vans that are like, chic to own now. Well, back then it was an old beat up van. And we would head out west to Litchfield. And we would pick grapes. We'd go out there. It was a family activity. All 6 of us. I'm the youngest of 4, and we'd go out there and we would pick grapes. And there was nothing out there. No houses. No nothing. Just farms. Now there's a high school, and that high school is literally on the foothills of the White Tank Mountains. It's called Canyon View High School. It opened 4 or 5 years ago. They're max capacity now. They're over 2,000 students. They play 5A, and they do very well at it. But this is only their 3rd year in varsity athletics and playing 5A varsity athletics nonetheless. And they're winning games. And so there's this brand new high school called Canyon View, and the community is amazing. The campus, the administration, from the top principal, Philip Nowlin, to athletic director Andrea Hudson, to the rest of the faculty and staff, to the kids, most importantly the kids, and the families. And I'm privileged, we are privileged at the Varsity Sports Show to have partnered up with them to do games for them, streaming. We covered their whole football season. They had a new football coach named Nick Gertz, and they won their league, made it into the playoffs, and had a phenomenal season. and now we're covering basketball. And by the way, their basketball team is winning. The girls team is doing extremely well, and just kicking butt, and they're just doing amazing things out there. So, Aviana, what have you been out to the West Valley?
I have, yeah. Not specifically to Canyon View, but the West Valley in general. I know, like you were talking about, it used to be not a lot out there, and it's slowly grown over the years. Even just in the 5-6 years that I've lived in the valley, I remember when I first moved here, there was nothing out there, and now it's growing. There's a lot of high schools in the West Valley that are just getting big. Millennium as well. That's another one that also has grown and is doing tremendously in sports, high school sports. I think they're 5A as well. Willow Canyon, which we were at last night, is another one. And there's just so many of those schools out there in the West Valley that, a few years ago weren't really even a blimp on the radar because no one was there. And now it's growing, and they're all growing, and a lot of them are thriving in sports. And I think that's wonderful for the West Valley. Of course, I'm a little biased. I'm from the East Valley.
Yes,
so,
yes.
I like to see our schools do better, but no, I'm happy for them out there.
It's the culture that they've instilled, but there's a lot of support again, and it's the Agua Fria School District, but there's a lot of support. And they're doing extremely well in that support in all extracurriculars. So thank you so much to Canyon View. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Coach Carranza on. She must be in practice right now. We've tried her, and we'll see if we could circle back with her. So not a problem. But that being said, Aaron, hit it. And now it's time for Beachin' with Beal. Random thoughts from a real Orange County, California surfer guy, Mike Beal. The opinions expressed during the segment in no way represent those of KDUS AM 1060 Arizona, the Varsity Sports Show, its host, or its listeners. All right, so I was explaining this to Aviana before the show. We did a little production meeting here and kind of laid out a rundown of the show. And when I got to the spreadsheet that said Beachin' with Beal, she looked at me like, what is this? And I said, well, this is our most popular segment. And she said, why? It says Southern California Surfing Report. And I said, because why not? People live in Arizona. They want to know what's going on in California, obviously, because it's the center of the universe, right? Yeah, right. But more importantly, there's a guy that I went to school with that grew up here in Phoenix by the name of Mike Beal. And he... he's a self-proclaimed Southern California surfer guy, and he talks about the surf and the beach and the waves, and then he spends a majority of the segment insulting me, and people love that for some reason. They love to see someone get insulted playfully, not with a lot of not malicious or anything, but I think still playful. But anyway, Mike, Happy New Year.
Vince, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
How are you, buddy?
All right. See, we're getting off to a great start now. It's cordial, and I want you to meet Aviana Hoppus. Aviana is joining our crew this year as a producer and broadcaster.
Aviana, I'm very excited about the big news. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good. How's Arizona treating you and all of our fans?
It's good. It's good. I gotta say, I used to live in SoCal, so
wow,
I get the vibes there. But I'm loving Arizona.
All right. Well, the big news out here, of course, I don't know if it's reached Arizona yet, but there's a giant surf place. It's kind of relatively new. It's called Nazaré, and unlike here, the waves are between 30 and 50 feet.
Wow.
My local surf spot yesterday, they were between 6 inches and 1 foot.
Wow.
It was a little bit different, but yeah, that's the news according to California right now.
So go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I was just going to ask you, do you have any New Year's resolutions, like being nicer to people, anything like that? Anyone in particular?
Well, as a matter of fact, I do. I woke up New Year's Day and I resolved to try to make you a man. As a matter of fact. I'm not sure how I'm going to go about doing that yet, but...
okay, we'll keep track. There's one. Okay.
Maybe I'm going to try to toughen you up a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe your co-host can help me. all season long. We can work on your personal hygiene, your physical appearance, your mannerisms. I'm not really sure where we could start our point of attack, but there's plenty of work to be had. And
Physical
we'll do it
appearance.
every Saturday on the air until we complete our mission.
So, all right. So, Mike, and Aviana and I, Aviana, who's significantly younger than I am, we were talking about musical interests, and she has a lot of the same musical interests that we do. In particular, she shares not quite a love of the group Van Halen like you and I have, but you and I tend to go at odds as to which of the lead singers is better. I think you're a David Lee Roth guy, right?
I don't even consider Van Hagar Van Halen.
Sammy Hagar's it. Come on. Anyway, but there's a tribute band. And I went to their show, and in fact, I had one of the guys on the show a few months back during your segment. He wanted to come on during the Beachin' with Beal report. Derek, who is the lead guitarist, he plays the Eddie Van Halen role in the band, and he calls himself Derek. The name of the group, Aviana, no lie, is Fan Halen with an F, Fan Halen. And they are clever. They are the world's second greatest Van Halen tribute band behind, there's a group in LA, I think, called Atomic Punks that's gotten a lot of positive press and things. But they do a lot of shows out here, and these guys are from Southern California. And so Mike is coming into town. They're playing at Harold's at the end of February, so up in Cave Creek. So you'll definitely have to, well, you're not a Van Halen fan, but Mike, are you still planning on coming in to see some Van Halen?
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned the Atomic Punks because they play at the Orange County Fair down the street from my house every summer, and they are pretty good.
Yeah.
They're really good. But I am looking forward to seeing Van Halen. I think in about 6 weeks I'm going to come down and see it and take you, kind of chaperone you at the concert, make sure people don't cut in front of you in line or just humiliate you in general. I'm kind of going to serve as sort of like your bodyguard / mentor at this big show.
Aviana, do you have any final questions for Mike, my old friend Mike Beal here, before we close out the Beachin' with Beal Southern California Surf Report?
Yes. Just as a former Southern Californian myself, how's that Orange County traffic treating you? Is it painful yet?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. It was the last 2 years has been a touch of heaven as far as traffic goes. It was dead for a long time, and it just recently, I'd say it came back this last fall semester during school, and in a general sense, it's awful. But for me personally, it's not that bad. I have a pretty easy commute. But I know a lot of people that drive an hour to get to work where I work and an hour plus home. It's not too. It's bad. Yeah, it's really bad. I was in Phoenix, I don't know, about a month ago, and I was driving around with my dad, thinking like, if this is traffic, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's bad. Like this segment is ending right now. It's bad anyway.
Oh, speaking of ending, I just wanted to say real quick, our number one fan, Rob Maggs, at the top of Squaw Peak right now.
Pastiwa Peak. They changed the name. Yeah.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
All right.
So he's listening.
He's listening. So thank you, Rob, for listening. And thank you to all of our, thanks, Mike, for calling in. We'll have you back in a couple weeks. Aviana, my co-host, throughout the semester, folks, we're going to have a broadcaster joining me in studio from Cronkite that'll be joining our team this fall. So listen in every week. Thanks again for joining us. Thanks to all of our guests today. Coach Joe Coletti, Willow Canyon High School. Coach Lucas Ramirez, Saguaro High School. My in-studio co-host, Aviana Hoppus. Aviana, thanks so much for joining us. This was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
I had a blast.
Yes. Well, we have a lot of work this coming semester. So stay tuned, folks. More coming. Monday, we've got a game out at Canyon View. Tune into that. At Varsity Show is our Twitter handle. Ed and Javon are up next. Thanks again, Aaron. Have a great weekend, everyone. Go Varsity. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating a platform to promote young people